Quick disclaimer, please don't call me a narcissist for doing a build tutorial. It's happened one too many times, okay? Honestly, I need to drop that. This one person, one time, like 3 years ago, called me a narcissist once for doing a build tutorial, and now I still reference it. But you know what? It's funny, right? It's like an inside joke that we have, maybe? I'm sorry, let's build. Today I'm gonna show you guys how to build this house. Now, it's not finished on the outside. I haven't landscaped it fully yet. The back is empty, but I wanna show you guys how to build a house like this one. I built this yesterday, and I did this one today. It's like mirrored. Don't worry about that. Ignore the neighbors, okay? But I made a video like 2 weeks ago where I kind of step by step took you guys through the building of a suburban house. We made one for Willow Creek. Today we're gonna make one for Oasis Springs. That video went over really well. It seemed like you guys liked it a lot, so I'm gonna do it again. Hopefully you're interested in watching me build this kind of step by step. I'm just trying to help, okay? And I used diagonal walls. Whoa. Whoa, am I right? But this right here is a 3-bedroom house. 3-bed, 3-bath. It's honestly kind of small, all things considered. Like, if you're looking for a big family home for cheap, this is probably not the move. Honestly, just building this style of house is kind of expensive because these windows are expensive. I mean, this one is 230 simoleons. You can get, like, windows from the other, like, you know, more, suburban style. Like, this window costs 50, you know, this one costs 40, so these are a lot more expensive to use, but I like this style. They're pretty. And if you want to fit in with this neighborhood of houses that I've built, you need to use them. But this is like one of my favorite house styles, so I like to build these kind of Mediterranean looking homes, if that's even the correct description. This house costs like 35K. That's wrong. That's not, it doesn't cost that much money, sorry. The house costs like 36K right now. I like half furnished it, mostly just like placement furniture. Obviously, I don't think this living room looks very good. I just kind of put these things down as like an idea for how you would lay it out. But I'm betting this house would cost like 50K if you furnished it properly. And 50K for a 3-bedroom house in The Sims is a little expensive, I feel like, for the average player. But you know what? There's cheats for a reason, you know? Just ka-ching it a little bit and then you're fine. Maybe some free real estate, who knows? All right, I'm gonna save this to my library and then bulldoze it and build it again. I actually bulldozed the Caliente's house in order to build this. There is enough space for them here, although I feel like Dina getting stuck in this tiny room, I don't think she'd be too pleased about that. That's not my problem though. That's a her problem. I know a lot of you might be building along with me while you watch this video, so quickly I'm gonna show you the floor plans so you can screenshot them and then like see what we're working with here. So here's the front of the house. Feel free to steal it. The back of the house, also open for stealing. Here's the downstairs without and with the grid. I know that the grid is kind of important for these things, so feel free to take your screenshots now. And then upstairs, again, without the grid, and also with the grid. Yes? Okay, screenshots taken, we're good to go. This is kind of sad, honestly. Okay, well, goodbye. Oh, good thing I have my path still. Should I keep that? Yeah, I'll keep that. It'll keep us on track. I actually recorded a speed build of myself doing this. It took me like 20 minutes to build, I think. I don't remember. And there was a lot of trial and error involved, especially because I was using the diagonal walls. And so there's kind of a lot of fiddling with it to make it look nice. The roof wasn't too difficult on this one, luckily. I'm gonna rate this house a medium difficulty. I don't know. But you can see me building it now. The hardest part is always the floor plan. But once you get that figured out, it's easy. Good to go, totally fine. And luckily, I'm gonna help you with that. All right, I'm gonna quit stalling now. Let's actually build this thing. Like any good Sims house, we're starting out with a box and then we're gonna make it fancy. It's gonna be 11 by 6. Oh, I shouldn't have left this terrain paint down. I don't remember. We're gonna be off a little bit. You know what? Go away, terrain paint. All right, we're gonna be off from the terrain paint for a bit because I don't actually know where on the lot this needs to be, but we'll get there. But this is like the base shape of our whole house. Everything revolves around this box, especially the main roof. Whenever I'm building these houses, you can see even on the one next door, there's that fancy box. That main box is still on the main upstairs roof. Everything revolves around this one rectangle. It makes it so you kind of have like a main core shape to the house. It makes it so much easier to do the roofing, I promise. And then again, everything else is gonna come off of that, so. Our next step is diagonals. Now we're gonna add a tiny little bump out, one tile over from the left. It's gonna be 4 by 2, so it'll look like that. You're gonna leave 4 tiles for where the door is gonna go. I'm just gonna put one down so you can kind of get an idea. The front door goes right there in the middle of the next 4 tiles, and that's where we're gonna start the diagonal line. Is that confusing? I'm sorry, I'm trying my best. But what you want to do is have a nice like one tile on either side of the door, and it's a 2-tile wide door. So you're gonna draw 4 tiles out with the diagonal tool like that. You've got your 4-tile long one. It's gonna be 4 tiles in the other direction. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you can draw it straight back to the other corner. So that wall you're drawing, it should meet up with the back of your box. But just keep in mind, that same fancy box, that one box, it's still there. Okay, next we're gonna add a bump out on the front of the house, kind of near the door, on that like front facing side of the diagonal wall. I'm just gonna put a little like 2x1 bump out right there. I actually put a desk in that little nook inside of the house when I furnished it, and I think it looks really cute. So, okay, I'm really sorry about this part because we're gonna have to kind of backtrack a little bit, but we're gonna put a patio on the front as well. So you can just get a flat floor piece. You're gonna wanna make it 2x4, but you'll see that's not gonna fill in the whole patio. There's like a weird little diagonal corner bit, which is really annoying because the triangle piece that we have doesn't fit there. So we're gonna have to delete some of our own walls. You can just drag it 1 tile over so it fills in that little corner and then put your walls back where they were before. But it's a teaching moment, you see, because now there's like a weird hole in our roof. Look how annoying that is. Our room is like kind of messed up in here. So what you can do, you can take the number 3 wall tool, it's the custom room tool. If you redraw over the whole room, all of the exterior walls, if you just draw them again, it'll delete the walls on the inside of the house, but it'll also fix it so that the room isn't broken. Oh, I broke the whole room. Dang it! The room is all one room at least. The room tool is kind of weird and the room system is kind of broken sometimes. When this happens, and you see how the game thinks this room is outside because there's these parts right here, if you remove the ceiling so that you can click on the yellow part and remove it, and then you click on it again and build it back, it fixes that problem, and then we don't have the holes there anymore. Now, moving on to the left side of the house over here, I've got a little bump out. It's kind of like a little bay window looking thing. It's like basically a tiny half circle looking, look, it looks like this. We put windows there. It's cute. What you're gonna wanna do, 1 tile from the left, draw a diagonal wall, go 2 tiles to the right, and then 1 back diagonal, so it just has like this little cute bump out. The back of the house is a lot easier. It's really simple. On the left side here, we're gonna do a 5x5 box, and then to the right of that, a little 3x1 coming off of our main house here. This box is where the kitchen's gonna be, and this little bump out's kind of half of the bathroom. And then I have a little patio too. If I were you, I'd just put a little like 3x3 floor piece down and then drag it across to the side. And that's our little back patio. And that is genuinely the entire first floor done. It's not that complicated of a shape, right? You're gonna wanna delete the walls on the inside now because we don't really need these things here. And you could do it with a sledgehammer tool and, you know, delete them individually, but that takes a long time and is boring. I'm about to change your life. I get asked how to do this all the time. If you get the wall tool, if you press B, it's a quick hotkey for it. If you hold the wall tool and hold Control while you're drawing the walls, you can redraw over walls you've already built and delete them. So if you just draw a wall again while holding Control, it deletes it and sells the wall. And we'll do the floor plan in a minute, but we have the upstairs to do now. That same box, we're gonna draw again on the second floor. So you start it in the back left corner while you're facing the front, and you draw it back over. 11x6 it was. You're gonna want an 11x6 box. It's like directly on top of the corners on the left of the house, and then it draws all the way to the edge where the diagonal wall meets the kitchen wall. Then you're gonna add that same 4x2 bump out in the front, and then directly over the front door, put a little 2x1 bump out, just for a little bit of added interest, you know? And then on the right side of the house, you're gonna want a little 3x1 bump out, starting like 1 tile over from the left. It's just gonna make this wall look a little bit less boring, because it is kind of flat, so we have that now. And then on the back, this is so dumb, I'm sorry, I know it's complicated, just bear with me. We'll have a little 3x1 directly over that same one we had downstairs. This next bump out on the far left, we're gonna kind of copy the one downstairs, but it's just gonna be a 3x5, not a 5x5, because we want some space in the front of it. And then put a little 3x1 bump out like that. And that is the entire shell, I swear. If you want, you can just press build ceiling on that room from downstairs where the little patio was, and then you'll have a floor for your patio upstairs, because there's actually a patio back here too. There's both a downstairs and an upstairs balcony in this house. But there you have it, friends. The shell of our house. I'm gonna put mine on a tiny foundation, like a 2-high foundation, just because I feel like it helps to elevate it a little bit. And now I'm gonna show you how to do the roof. It's way less complicated than it looks, I swear. The roof pieces are all gonna go where we have these bump outs, so keep that in mind. And we're gonna start off by roofing our main box. I always do that. When I'm building my houses, I keep that main box purely so the roof looks like it's got one big cohesive main piece. I'm gonna take a hipped roof and I'm gonna put it just across that same 6x11 box that we had originally. It's a little bit tall, so I might lower it down like a few pieces, maybe like 3 steps. Keep in mind, number one, real houses have really ugly roofs in real life. Like genuinely, if you look at any real house, look at the house you live in. The roof is probably really weird. Like if you try to imagine what would happen if you put that roof of your real life house in The Sims, I bet it would look horrible. So I mean, it's fine. Roofing can be bad sometimes. But also, like, certain styles of houses have different styles of roofing, and I think these kind of have lower roofs typically in this style of house. We're also gonna put a little, like, overhang on it. So if you drag out this little corner, it pulls out an overhang, and I think that looks a lot better than it did before without it. As a quick reminder, we're going for this roof. So keep this like vision in mind as we build this one here. But we're actually gonna copy this same piece. There's a little copy button and we're gonna use it so that the heights are all the same, and you're gonna adjust it to fit that little front bump out. And what I always do is I make sure the roofs all line up together. So I drag this piece all the way to the back. It doesn't actually need to, but like my main goal is I don't want it to have like a weird little pointy bit on the top, so I drag it so that pointy bit hides inside of the other roof piece. You always want to like tuck in the roof. We're gonna take that same piece and do it again in the back, and also, you know, like I said, make sure it lines up and pulls back into the roof properly. We're gonna take some gabled ones next. You want to put a little one on top of that bump out on top of the door. Also, I would lower it down like 3 again, just so it's a little bit lower and less, you know, obnoxious. I like to keep it so that all the roof pieces are the same angle because I think it looks really dumb. For example, if you have a roof piece that, you know, one is tiny and then one is super tall, like doesn't that look really odd when the angles don't line up properly? So on all the same like face of the build, I like to have them all be the same angle. I think it's fine if there's like a taller one on the left and not on the front, but if they're facing the same way, they have to be the same angle. It's a little thing that I have, but I think it makes the builds look better when you do it that way, so. And luckily, we can just copy this same roof piece and put it on all the other little bump outs and put one on the right side of the house. So it's really coming together now. I'm leaving the diagonal bit for last because it's kind of annoying. It isn't that bad, but it's kind of annoying, so we'll get to her. But on the left side of the build, remember we had this little bay window thing? We're gonna wanna put an octagonal roof on that. If you put it on the far left of it and then just drag it out one tile, it'll fit perfectly, but it looks kind of dumb. So just drag out the little corner again so it has kind of an overhang. And then you can lower it a little bit so it looks a little bit less weird. I think like about there is a good height. It doesn't really matter, but all right. And last but certainly not least, the diagonal roofing. Now we have a few more pieces to roof, obviously like these bits in the back and the front. Above the front door, you're gonna wanna just build a ceiling so that it's covered. And then we're gonna use a half gabled roof and kind of lower it down. It's up to you how high you want it to be, but I think that lowering it down like, what, 1, 2, 3, about 7, maybe even 8 is usually where I would put it down. And then I'm gonna drag that all the way across to the left so that it kind of covers the middle half of this front bump out. It adds some like interest to the front of the build that otherwise is not there. It'd just be like one big old wall otherwise. And I don't know how far over it needs to be on the right exactly, but I would pull it over just a little bit because then it'll be hidden inside of the roof. We can always fix that once we have the roofing on top of the diagonal bit, but for now just put it about there. And then you're gonna wanna steal that whole thing, copy it, and we're gonna put it on the back of the build as well, that same height. Because there's that little too wide bump out on the back here. You're just gonna wanna line it up so it fits perfectly on the bump out. And you can see, it's kind of weird how it has like these like weird overhangy bits going off of it. So I'm gonna line it up to fill up exactly against the wall, and then I'm gonna use these little triangle pieces to make it so it has no overhangs. I think that looks a lot better. And then we're gonna put a trim around it so it'll kind of hide the weird parts on the wall. All right, now diagonal roofs, these things always end up being like a little bit shorter. The diagonal one and the regular height one, the diagonal one's a lot shorter. So we might not need to lower it that much. What we're gonna do is just take your diagonal gabled roof and you're gonna put it on top of this bump out, this diagonal bump out, and then pull it all the way back into the build so it lines up back here. And then however low you need it to be, kind of try and match it to the other pieces. If you don't want it to match, it doesn't really matter, but I might lower it down like 2, just so it like blends a bit better. I don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about me. And then I'm just gonna duplicate that same thing again. I'm gonna put it on that bump out in the front. You have to resize it a bit. Again, make sure that it like kind of pulls into the back there, because when it's like showing, it looks kind of weird. So just pull it back in. And this piece in the front here, if it doesn't pull all the way back into the side, because sometimes you might have this like thing kind of leaving a space, I would just drag the half-gabled roof into the other roof so that it hides it better. And that's the whole roof done. I know it was kind of complicated, so I'm sorry about that, you guys. But if there are any takeaways, I'm serious about the like main box thing. It makes a big difference, I swear. You can put some trim on now. I like a bunch of them. I think my favorite one is the beveled out roof trim, but the square roof trim is nice. We're gonna pick the beveled out roof trim in that brownish color. It's a bit annoying because a lot of the roof trim doesn't really match the windows in this game. I'm gonna go for like sort of an orange tiled roof. I picked this one when I did the house before. That's very characteristic of the style of the house we're building. You can do whatever you want for the roof. I mean, you could make this house, it doesn't have to be a Mediterranean style. You could turn this into a suburban blue house if you wanted to. I have a balcony in the back of the house. You can just pick a fence, any fence that you think fits or you can afford or whatever. I like to use the Mega Fence Basic because it's got a lot of wooden swatches that all match very nicely with our build. But you can just take that one and then draw it on the top and bottom floors, and then your Sims won't fall off and die from the balcony. Oh my god. Sims can't fall off and die from balconies, but imagine if they could. Like, what a tragedy if your Sim just, like, fell off a balcony and then, or fell down the stairs and died. Oh my god, I knew a girl. Okay, I'm sorry, quick detour. I think we've all been there with these, like, fake Sims freaks that are like, yeah, I play The Sims, I kill so many Sims. And they, like, tell lies about how they've killed Sims, and you're like, oh, really? Is that so? They'll be like, oh, I cheated on my husband and then I murdered him by pushing him down the stairs. Your Sim didn't die from being pushed down the stairs. Your Sims can't die from being pushed down the stairs. They can't even be pushed down the stairs. But as soon as you mention you play The Sims to someone, they're like, oh yeah, I've played The Sims. I kill so many Sims. It's like this default response they come out with, and they lie all the time about things. And you see these like Tumblr text posts about like Sims stories, like, oh, I was playing Sims and my Sim did this and then they died, but they like lied about how their Sim died. I know the truth. I play this game. You're lying. Okay, I'm sorry. Have you met people like that? Let me know in the comments. I know I can't be alone with this. It happens all the time. Okay, I'm sorry, let's build. You can see now though, it looks kind of ugly, I feel like, with this weird trim on it. So if you go into the little exterior trim section, you can pick out one that matches your wood color. Just like a little brown one, and you can put it on the side of the build there to like cover it up, fill it in. As a quick tip, if you ever have some kind of weird clipping issue where this clips and starts coming inside of the build, or if maybe like you didn't want it to go all the way around this side, if you hold shift while you're placing it, it places on just one wall. So I could put trim just right there if I wanted to, if I hold shift. That is a game changer for sure, especially if you're ever doing something where you have like an open staircase and then your trim is like clipping everywhere and stuff because your walls are broken and clipping and the fences are clipping. If you hold shift, you can fix that problem. Okay, well my house is too far back on the lot. It doesn't matter where you put your house. I don't care where on the lot your house is, but if I wanted to line up with my stuff, I gotta put it right there. Okay, cool. It is exactly where it was before. Before I bulldozed it and killed it. I don't really know what trim to put on this build. I don't really like most of the trims. I think I'm just gonna pick this one with the brown. I might even lower it down to just be one tall. I think that's kind of pretty. Let's do it like, you know what? Let's do it like that. Sure, why not? Okay. Next we've gotta do windows and doors. Now, I am a big fan of like this double door. This door is pretty. There's some really nice medium doors that kind of match this style. But they're also kind of expensive, and so I'm, in an effort to save money for my poor Sims, you know, the broke Caliente family, they can't be spending too much on doors. This one is cheap. It's in the base game in an update they added recently. Only 50 simoleons, and it's fancy and kind of pretty. So if you put it in a nice light brown color, I mean, that's all you need, right? And they have some kind of fun swatches too for other colors. Like, look at that one. Isn't that nice? It might be like too much with our, you know what? No, we could pull that off maybe. Let's use the blue one. How exciting. They have matching doors for it too. They've got matching windows for it too, but I want to use the base game ones that we've had for a long time because we kind of have more options with them. And you can place these wherever you want. You can also pick whatever kind you want. I don't know what style of house you're building, so you could make this into a nice craftsman house and use the seasons windows, like the cats and dogs windows. I'm building with just base game and I'm making this sort of style house, so I'm going to pick these brown ones. The Mega Window Double Deluxe I'm going to put right above the front door. And that's the thing, you can kind of just put windows wherever, you know, like it doesn't really matter. This little small one is nice and one tile and good for putting on the side of the build. And as a tip, I oftentimes leave windows off the side of the build. Like I might put one here because it's kind of like a good spot for one, but I might leave these off until I do the floor plan because you never really know where your windows are going to be, and like you don't really need to have that many on the side of the house. If you look best on the front, like the front needs to look nice, but like on the side of the build, if I wanted to have a window there because there was a room for it and not right there, that's totally fine. Like it doesn't really matter where they go. So I always do the side of the house last after I do the floor plan because then I can kind of see it better. I put a nice big grand rounded window on that bump out in the front where the desk is, our desk nook. the most important part of the build. And then just like some random ones, like this kind of big square one right there. I put that same big square one on the front of the house. And I think it looks really nice. I ended up putting the windows kind of in a weird spot on the side. I think they were like this, and it's because I had a fireplace in between them. And so it looked nice to have them on either side of the fireplace, but I left off windows back here until I furnished the house because I didn't know where things were gonna be. You can put them down in those same places if you want. On the left side of the house over here, we've got this fancy bump out. So I put these like rounded windows in it, kind of on every single wall. And then above it, I just put like a smaller 2-wide window. You could pick a bigger one if you wanted, honestly. That's just a hallway in my build, so it's fitting, honestly. But you see, maybe you think it's kind of weird how the roof is clipping a tiny bit with the window. You can just lower the roof down a little bit, and then it hides it. And also, if you hold Alt, you can freely move things, roof pieces included. So you can kind of move it like less or more than like the clicks it would automatically move by, and you can hold Alt to slowly move up windows and things. Alt is magical. You can use it to like freely rotate objects. Instead of it rotating just on the grid, if you hold Alt, you can rotate it however you want. But you have to be on the Sims 3 camera to do that. That's this little button right here. It only works with that on. The Sims 4 camera is stupid and mean, so it tries to prevent you from doing that. But I always use the Sims 3 camera because the Sims 4 camera doesn't let you like move up and down like this very easily. You can't free rotate things. I mean, there is nothing good about the Sims 4 camera. The bump outs kind of lend themselves to what window should go on them. I'm gonna put this like little rounded one there. This is the kitchen down here, so I think having 3 small windows that are like about counter height is nice because then the counters will be right underneath them. You can put a sink there. I mean, it'll be cute. And because we have balconies, I'm gonna put a door to the balcony on this part. I like this little Mega Door Deluxe rounded one. I think it's cute. And you can put one just on both parts, both levels. But that's like basically the house finished. Obviously we have to fix the floor plan, and there are a ton of walls up here, so I'm just gonna delete them really fast. In this style house, I love to put tile everywhere. It might not be your cup of tea. Obviously you can do whatever you want, but I'm gonna put tile down. Floor plan time. I'm stalling. I tried to have a kind of defined entryway and also like split up the rooms a little bit because it is a pretty open floor plan. So if you go to the front door, I want you to put 2 walls on either side. You're not gonna close it off, just put the 2 walls there. I put columns on them to kind of like fancy them up a little bit. This bump out we had in the back, we're gonna turn that into a bathroom. So if you just draw some walls and make it into a little 2x3 room, that's where the bathroom goes. And the staircase goes right next to it. If you get like a brown staircase, I don't know. It's 3 wide, so it fits perfectly right there. We're gonna put it right there against the bathroom. And you can see on the back here, there's kind of like a weird spot where the walls don't line up. I always just draw a wall on the back of the staircase so it doesn't look so odd. And then you can always put like, you know, some railings on it, make it all fancied up and stuff. But this room turns into the dining room. I put a table kind of in this area, maybe some chairs back here. But anyway, luckily that's the only walls we need to have downstairs. I know it's kind of confusing, so I'll show you guys how the floor plan is in my head, because you kind of need to have some items down to like lay things out. I'm just gonna put some lights in so we can actually see what we're doing here. To try and make it a little bit less boring looking, I actually put a different tile in the bathroom there, and because the upstairs has wood floors, I decided that I wanted to put wooden floors so in that whole space to the left of the house, I put wooden floors down. So like the entryway and living space and kitchen is all tile, because that feels very normal to me. I live in Florida. My house is tile, my parents' house has tile floors. I think a lot of like hot places probably have this too. Tile is very common to cover the whole house. Anyway, this is very common to my real life experience. Over here, the fireplace kind of gives you an idea where I thought the layout would go. It's on a diagonal, so it's kind of weird. Honestly, you guys, if I can offer any suggestions, living rooms are good rooms to have on a diagonal. If you're gonna have a diagonal room, make it the living room because it's easier to like, or a dining room. It's easy to lay out that furniture. Like that still all fits and works nicely. If you try and put a kitchen, God forbid, a kitchen on a diagonal, the counters don't fit and they have like that weird shadow in the back. Like it looks so dumb. Never, ever, ever put a kitchen on a diagonal. If you can avoid it at all costs. I'm serious. I told you already, but I made this a desk nook. Cause one, imagine how pleasant it would be to like have that view of your neighbor's house. You can have a dining room down here. Okay, well don't place chairs like that. But I kind of put mine like right there. And then the kitchen, it's a big kitchen, it's very nice. This is like a dream in real life, honestly. I just put counters like all the way around the whole thing. And then you get to have a fancy island that comes off it. But that's my plan for the downstairs. The upstairs is a little bit more complicated maybe. There's a lot of open space up here too. So step one, you can kind of see the bathroom. It's in the same place as downstairs. That's the master ensuite bathroom. Over here, where we have that window, you can see it's like 4 tiles from the back. We're gonna draw a line that is like basically straight across for 8 tiles. This becomes a bedroom and a bathroom. So if you go down from there to the end of the bump out on the right above the front door, and then also draw a line right there, that's a bedroom and a bathroom. I also put a wall like on the back of the staircase, and I drew that across to the end of the bump out there. That's the master bedroom, this big room right here. And then I just closed off that room, and that becomes a bedroom too. So there's 2 kids' bedrooms, a bathroom for them to share, and then a master bedroom and bathroom. I would put that same hardwood floor from downstairs in all the bedrooms, some tile in the bathrooms, and that's the whole place basically done. Obviously there's some touches you have to finish up, like for example, you need to have a railing on the stairs or else people are gonna die. You can use that same door from downstairs and kind of put it to all of the rooms. You could use this space as well at the landing of the stairs. You could put like a playroom for your kids. You could put another desk up there because honestly, you can never have too many computers in The Sims. But the house is like basically done. There's a few touches we gotta finish still. For example, we haven't painted it yet. I'm gonna use this unbent smoothness wallpaper. It's basically just like a beige stucco kind of thing, but I think it's pretty. So we're gonna put that all over the whole build. I also love this brick. If you wanted to use that instead, I will absolutely get behind that. Do whatever you want. Maybe a combo of the 2. I'm also gonna put some little wooden columns down because you gotta support that patio, else we're all gonna die. Same thing, maybe some columns in the front there if you so desire. Something I really like to do is put columns on all the corners of the build. Now, this might seem a little overkill, and it's also really expensive. But I'm serious, I cannot recommend this enough. I think it makes the build look so nice and finished and pretty and just good all around. I wouldn't personally use this column probably. I like the get together columns a lot for this. In the original build I did, I used this column. I mean, there's all kinds of options, but I think adding columns to all the side pieces, these don't really match is the problem. The wood's wrong. Oh, that's lighter, that's better. Hang on, guys. If only we had matching wood tones in this game. Look how dumb it looks. Why don't they match? This Sims is trying to ruin my life. I'm gonna start crying. In the build that I did originally, I actually continued this trim that I've got around the patio, and I put it around this like bump out of the kitchen. But to do that, you have to put a floor down, so you can put like a little piece down and kind of fit it to the sides of it. It's gonna be annoying and mess with your column placement and stuff, but once you have this down, you can put the floor trim down, which honestly helps. It kind of like breaks it up a little bit better. But that, my friends, is our build. I'm not gonna furnish it, and obviously you can add things and touches like some lights on the patios and stuff. You're gonna wanna landscape it, which I have not done. If you press the left bracket key, you can size down a tree, and I think that putting like 2 of the trees, one a little bit smaller, doesn't that look nice? I think honestly, I might even put some stairs here. We might not need them, but just in case your Sims start being dumb and deciding they can't, because they can walk up that one step, but in case they decide to be dumb and don't do it, I'll just put some stairs down, just in case, because I don't trust them. As far as landscaping goes, I like to use this bush and stuff. You guys might notice, if you're ever trying to landscape and your stupid bush keeps jumping up to the height, it's easier to tell when we've got like a higher foundation, but sometimes when you're trying to landscape, if you put it too close to the wall, the bush will like jump up to foundation height, which is really stupid, and sometimes I just want to have some nice landscaping close to my build. To fix that, if you remove the foundation completely, so it's completely flat on the ground, you can put things as close to the edge as you want, and when you put the foundation back, they'll stay. So that is my final word of wisdom to you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I was trying to be as helpful as possible. I'm definitely not like a tutorial I'm not a tutorial channel. God, why can't I talk? I am not by any means a teacher, but I do know that I have the ability to at least help a little bit, because I build in The Sims sometimes. I kind of know what I'm doing sometimes, sort of, kind of. I'll put this house on my gallery so you can download the shell of it if you want, and you can just furnish it and play in it, or copy it, or whatever. I don't care. Free reign. Use however you wish. Burn it down, for all I care. I'll also link some more of my build tutorials down below. I have one that's just like this, but for a different style house. I'll link that for you as well. But like I said, I'm gonna go, so please make sure to leave a like and comment and subscribe and do all those fun YouTube things. And in case you guys didn't know, I post new videos every single day, and so I will see you all tomorrow. Bye, everybody. My husband and I think you're a narcissist. Me. I'm sorry. I'm still bitter about that comment, honestly. I need to calm down.